It's a beautiful summer morning. It's going to get hot this afternoon. It's going to be more than 100 degrees. Well, what I thought we'd do today is to work on our discards. Just as a reminder, the one that's spinning here and the two in the green pots, they were the bulge at the base of the triple air layer Seiju and elm, if you remember. I cut it off and then I decided to make 3 out of it. Okay, so this one over to our right, remember our arching style, and it wouldn't fit in the pot, so I had to cut off part of it. Well, that's what that is right there. So I'm going to call this chapter working with the discards. So initially, all I wanted was for these to get healthy and well rooted. I think we're at that point now, so we could start to think in terms of styling. We're not going to be able to complete this for probably a year or 2 years, but at least we're going to get started. So off we go. Actually, we don't know what's in here yet. I'm just going to cut these lightly just to see what we have to work with, right? These at the base are all the growth that comes on. Well, what the plant is doing, trying to recover from this harshness. So anyway, I think in the future we might decide we want these all to be gone. Then we'll use a concave cutter and get tighter. But right now, I just want to see what we have. Oh, okay, I think we have this here, and we want to go with a single leader. So we're going to cut these, trying to make them the side branch. Then we have to decide one or the other. It might be a little too early to decide. It's going to be this one or that one. So I'm just going to cut these off and let these take off. And probably another half year down the line, we'll decide exactly which one will be our true leader. So, like I was saying, this is just one of the steps that we do to decide how we're going to proceed. Remember, this had nothing except a chunk of wood. Although this one, I think, feels like it will be one of the best ones. Maybe bring the branch down in here, something like that. But we still need the apex, and I'm going to forego that till a little bit later. Okay, this is one part of the 3, the bulge that got cut up in 3 pieces. You know, most people, I think, make the mistake of trying to get to the bonsai stage too quick. We're just trying to work on workable material. So the initial step was to get them vigorous so that they're well rooted. I think we passed that stage, but now we're going to start to think in terms of styling. So let's do our cautious cuts. We want to get them short so we can see what we have to work with, but not completely off that won't be a branch in that place. So these might come off completely in the future. We don't know yet. Don't have to make that kind of decision. Now this one has some sort of a start. So we could go from here and go up that way or this way. Let me clean up a little bit more so we could make hopefully a wise decision. Well, you know, the root flare down here is hard to see. It's kind of interesting. And then so we're gonna decide whether it goes this way or this way. Okay, I was trying to decide, should I keep this one, but after looking at it, actually both comes off. And go with that one, because there was a better movement that way, right? So, of course, this is just kind of possible. It might change. But now we actually have this one going this way, going like that, and then try to put all the energy in there so that there will be a good transition across here. You can notice that there's a bulge starting. Actually, what I did was I cut into it so that we could avoid the bulge. Now, I should seal this thing up so that it doesn't get infected inside, but I think by addressing it now, I could have better potential in the future. So anyway, I did that. Okay, this is the third one. I'm gonna do the same thing, go inside and start this guide a new apex somewhere. There's all kinds of potential, so let me go ahead, get inside and see what we're gonna do. Now there's one. I'm assuming this one or this one, maybe this one will be our leader. Or do we end up with a clump style, have multiple leaders or trees? That might work. So let's, at least at this point, let's proceed with that thought. So this is our number one tree, makes a turn here and then goes that way. This is number 3, so it should be lower. This is number 2, should be a little bit lower than the number 1. Okay, and then these just come off. Now, this is just an initial thought. It's a good possibility it will change. So, like I was saying, there's a good possibility that it could change. So this is number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 3 is a little too high, so I'll cut it short. Okay, so this is nowhere to finish, right? This is gonna go turn, 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 so it'd be like that, and then so on. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these a little bit shorter so we could see the potential. These projects, you just don't know where it's gonna lead, but it will be unique because when you get unusual materials, you end up with an unusually, well, hopefully unusually good project. These that have these natural cracks in it, that might add to the future of this plant tree here. Okay, so a lot of this we don't know. A lot of times we let nature take its course and we try to enhance it. But you can only fight nature so much and then it'll bite you in the you know where. Okay, so now, okay, at least for now, we got a triple trunk attempt here. there's some really interesting stuff going on in here. So we don't know yet. 2-3 years down the line, we'll probably know for sure what we want to do with this. Okay, this is from a different project. This is from my big arching style. It was so long that it would not fit in the pot. So I cut this off, and I think most people would have discarded it. But you know me, I try to save everything I can. And so, although this is not from the same project, basically it's the same approach. We have a chunk of stump, and then how we're going to enhance it. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop this machine and we'll get started and see what happens. Okay, once again, slow and easy. I think most of these will eventually be cut down to nothing, but for the time being, I'm just going to cut it so that we can see what we have to work with. Well, it's fairly obvious we've got a big one here, right? But sometimes the one that are big gets removed because it lacks interest. I'm not sure whether, well, this could be almost like a formal upright or a straight trunk. Well, let's see what you're gonna. Couple options. What I'm thinking is, if I do nothing, this will grow very strong, right? And we'll get this to really fatten up down here, and then maybe make the choice. So I think for now, I'm not going to do anything with that. And then over here, well, we could do like a double trunk. These too many, it gets confusing, but if I have 1 and 2, that might work. So I'll cut this off and work with this. You see the logic of my thinking here, right? You see this big wound here? This is the cut. And see how it's starting to roll over. So by not touching this and let this go very vigorously, this will continue on, right? And so I think another 1 to 2 years, if this keeps going, then this whole thing would have healed and people would never guess that this was cut off of another project. So I think I'm going to stop at this point. So for now, I'm thinking 1 tree and 2 trees. So it's like a double trunk of a 1 base, at least for now. Okay, so this was a project on discarded Seiyuan elm. It's not from 1 project, but 2. So the one that is on the turntable now is the one that was from the arching style when I could not get it in the container, so I cut it off. And I think most people would have discarded it, but I try not to do that, and it's working out well. It has rerooted nicely, and I think it's growing very vigorously. So now all we have to do is to put some sort of interesting style on it. Okay, so I see a good future for this one. Oh, these 3 are also Seiyuan elm. At one point, this was 1 piece that cut off of a triple air layer project. There was a bulge that I cut off and then took the bulge and split it into 3. And well, like I've been saying, initially you have to get them all healthy. And these are all healthy now. They're growing very vigorously. And so I'm going to be feeding them fairly heavy. And then we'll start to slowly shape them into something interesting. I see this as about a 2-year project before it's going to look like something. I think if I stay on top of it, I can put this on the sales bench, because by then I think people will have a good idea where it's headed. But I was thinking that in 3 that these will look really great. So in the future, I'll be treating all 4 of these because they're in a similar situation. So I'm just going to call this the 4 discards. Okay, so this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. So this was the discarded Seiju and Elm. As I was ready to put this away, I saw this potential. So I went more aggressively, cut off some bumps and lumps, and I think I'll have a better future quicker. Now you will see coming around. Actually, I didn't cut the big chunk off. I just cleaned out the outside edges. Well, you haven't seen it yet. Wait till it's come around and see where the fresh cut is. I think now it has a little bit better line, and hopefully there will be some kind of the repair or rollover of the edges. So that's one of the bigger things that I did. So anyway, a lot of time in this, I'm trying to do something else, like putting this away. I saw a potential, so I thought I'd do that and share it with you.